ANC NEC member and national spokesperson Zizi Kodwa. Mr. Kodwa, good evening and thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks very much for your good evening to you.
Well, let's start by how quick is this process going to be?
Well, like we indicated, if you recall, we did send a letter a few days ago indicating the decision of the National Working Committee. A few days later, we were in Cape Town, the national officials were in Cape Town the whole day today, and it's a seriousness in which we take the matter of the Western Cape, where I'm certain that in a couple of few days, we should be able to come back to the Western Cape to indicate the names of the positions and people that we will be asking to come and help in the Western Cape as caretaker, like you indicated. People have got to look at we've got to take a load from those members from other positions and deployments they have, so that they can simply focus in the Western Cape.
Now, you had, the leadership of the ANC had interactions with Mr. Fransman previously, prior to today's meetings. Now, what's going to happen beyond this point? Is that going to take over from what you had already started doing, or are you starting afresh completely?
No, not at all. The provincial leadership of the ANC in the Western Cape is intact in the form of the PEC. What we thought we should do, because we are satisfied that the structures of the organization beneath the PEC, which is your RECs, which is your branches, your zonal structures, are quite strong. The ANC is aligned, quite active. There were issues that we have made observations about the PEC. So what had happened today is simply to say, the PEC, carry on with your work, but appreciating the weaknesses structurally in the PEC. Of course, the decision to ask both the secretary and the provincial chairperson is unprecedented, and therefore it's a responsibility of the national leadership to strengthen the PEC.
Do you think, what do you think this is going to, what impact is this going to have on your election program in the Western Cape?
Not at all. If you look at the ANC, we don't subscribe to the notion of a leader. That's why these campaigns, the programs of the ANC, the success or the failures of those programs are never centered around an individual. Because individual, we subscribe to the notion of a collective leadership. That's why the ANC have lived for more than 104 years, because it has never been about the popularity, about the presence of an individual. We're quite confident that the people of Western Cape, in their numbers, particularly the people of Cape Town as a metro, are quite supportive, and they will continue to bestow their confidence in the ANC. That's why we said last week, we will fight tooth and nail to win back metro, particularly city of Cape Town, as well as retaining other metros. We don't think the decision we took will have any negative impact to our campaign in the Western Cape, but particularly in Cape Town. I might say also as well that this is a principled decision that is about the reputation of both members, to protect their reputation and that of the ANC. And it will take such decision even it's on the eve of the elections, because it's for the ANC that must survive even beyond elections.
Well, and what about those who have been affected or impacted on by this decision? I'm talking here about your other comrade that your provincial secretary was involved in a brawl with, but also the woman who made the allegations against Fransman. Are you taking care of those as well?
Well, the details of the cases, quite frankly, I'm not aware of both the people who are accused and people who have laid charges, their whereabouts. I'm not in a position to discuss the details, both in terms of the merits, but also the whereabouts of people who are involved in each of the cases.
Well, I thought you would, because, I mean, on the Fransman thing, is someone who was working in his office, and on the Jacobs thing, the same story.
Well, like we said, part of the reason we came here was, among others, to allow the investigations and this process to run smoothly, but also to make sure that even the people we are talking about, they've got confidence in the leadership of the ANC in a manner that we deal with this matter fairly, that people don't use their position to influence the outcome. Precisely that reason we thought we should come and ask the two members to step aside equally also to give confidence to those who are affected as those who have laid charges so that they can believe in the system.
Well, all of this is happening in a region and a province where you are arguably weakest. I mean, the Western Cape is run by the DA. The Cape Town Metro is run by the DA. Are you going to be able to stop the DA's runaway train?
The point we make is that the success of the ANC campaign on any program is not centered around an individual. The fact that there is no chairperson or there is no secretary or anybody is not the strength and the weakness of the African National Congress. The fact that you've got very strong base in a form of branches, in a form of region, that for us is an indication that as an organization, we are here to live and to carry on the responsibility as outlined both in the January 8th statement, but also with a commitment that came out of Lekgotla, that we must fight tooth and nail to win back the city of Cape Town, and as well as we must equally do the same with other metros where at the moment the ANC is governing party. But we don't think necessarily because of the decision we took in relation to the two cases has got any negative bearing on our ability to soldier on.
So you don't think that this episode comes or is going to come as a gift to Madame Patricia de Lille, who was already steps ahead of the ANC, truth be told?
Well, doomsayers have always made a point that they've written an obituary of the ANC since 1912. The ANC has gone through many turbulences. The art of leadership has always been how do you manage the leadership or the organization post the eye of the storm. We are going through that process, and I think the strength of the ANC is its ability to manage post the eye of the storm. This too shall pass.
And you think you will be able to achieve that goal that you had set yourself of reclaiming the metropolitan municipality from the DA?
We have no reason to doubt. I think anybody would think that the effect of the decision would actually be, not be able to win over what we have set for ourselves. That's political somnambulism, because the African National Congress, I think our strength, given what the surveys and the research we've done, we are beginning to get indication that we must remember it was not because of our weakness or anything else that the DA took over Western Cape and the city of Cape Town. It was inherently some of intra-contradictions within the party, and therefore it was not because of the strength of the opposition that they took over. It was on the weaknesses and intra-contradictions that at a particular time in history, probably they were not managed well in the organization. And we have learned and took some lessons from that, and I think we've become more stronger, like a rose that grew from the concrete. We've faced different challenges at different times, and I think we're more ready to take over the task of winning over the city of Cape Town.
And when are you announcing your candidates for mayor in the metros?
We had already taken a decision that, unlike in the past, there are some strategic initiatives and detours we may need to take, including announcing mayors in many strategic municipalities prior to the election so that they have become part of the campaign. As you are aware, we are launching the National Manifesto in PE soon, and I think we should be able, when we get there, because that on its own must be informed by selection of candidates, which is already underway from different parts of the country, different branches of the ANC, about 2,000 of them. At the end of that process, we should be able to determine as and when and which strategic municipalities we will announce ahead of time.
And you're not expecting any fights over the names of possible candidates?
The selection of candidates is quite an intense process. There's always competition, there's always contestation, there's always careers, there's always ambitions. And I think that the issue that we at least we must appreciate, even the tensions you have now, are less than what you had in 2011. And I think it's because of how politically we've learned from 2011 to manage these processes going forward. The one incident or two we've seen cannot actually characterize and make a statement to suggest that the process itself is actually chaotic. If you look at more than 2,000 branches of the ANC in the country, the process has gone smoothly well, including adherence to an important principle of public meetings, where we insist to our organization that community meetings are not an option, it's a policy of the organization. Any candidate that emerges must have gone through community approval.
Mr. Zizi Kodwa, thank you very much.
Thank you.